And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I am Michael DeLon. Today I'm talking with Marques Ogden. Marques, man, thank you for taking some time to be with me today.
Well, thank you very much for having me on, Michael. I appreciate you.
You are welcome. It's going to be a fun, energetic conversation, so hang on tight. Marques is an international, inspirational keynote speaker. He's a former NFL player. He's built a number of businesses. He's a host of the Get Authentic with Marques Ogden podcast, and he really works with people to help you, as he would say, fail forward and achieve success in your life. Through what he teaches. And so we're going to dive into a topic today, Marques, that's really dear to my heart that you talk a lot about, which is authenticity and the importance of that. But as we get there, tell me, how in the world did you get doing what you're doing today?
Michael, I got here after failing or going through a life lesson when I lost my construction company, my home, my cars, all of my money, all of my assets, and I had to leave Baltimore, Maryland, and move to Raleigh, North Carolina. I ended up losing everything in a construction business called Caden Premier Enterprises, and I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, and I had to start over. And I was working a job. I got fired from that job after about 2 months. I got a job the next day. I got fired from that job 5 days later. I go and speak on stages. I'll tell people I got fired twice in the same week. Has anybody ever had that happen to them? I'll raise my hand. Everybody's like, and keep their hand down. So they love that. And it takes talent to get fired from two jobs in the same week. But anyway, so from there, right, Michael, I ended up hitting rock bottom and having to work as a custodian. I had my spoiled milk rock bottom moment where somebody's trash and rotten meat and nasty, protruding, horrible smelling garbage, right, Mike, got all over me. And
Wow.
that was my wake up call. And that's when I decided at that moment, I'm going to start speaking to help others. So to answer your question, it was failure, life lesson, trial, tribulations, ups, downs, having to hit rock bottom, having my spoiled milk moment. That is what got me to say to myself, I want to speak and inspire and help people. And that was September 2013. So now here we are, 12 and a half years later, doing what we love, speaking on stages, author, podcaster, coach, consultant, everything in that realm.
That's amazing. What a great story. And I appreciate you sharing that because too many stories that we hear, Marques, as you know, are always just success and I did this and I graduated and I got the job and things. We don't hear the I hit rock bottom, all right, story very often to go, no, that's the turning point right there. And the cool thing is what you've done since that time, but a lot of what you have done, a lot of what you teach and share people to equip them to succeed in life is this concept of authenticity and being true to who you are. Unpack that for us a little bit, and what is it when you say be authentic, and why is that so important?
Being authentic, right, Michael, to me means being who you are in the moment, knowing that the moment's going to change. None of us should stay the same. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. I'm not the same person I was when I was an NFL football player. I've gone through trial, tribulations, ups, downs. We should always be working towards being the best version of ourselves. And I tell people, if you have a finish line in business and or in life, you're finished. And that's not a good thing. You're finished for the bad because what will happen is you'll get complacent, you'll get content, and then you won't keep pushing for greatness. So for me, authenticity is about, like you just said, I'm not going to tell you that I started speaking after a NFL career and built this successful business and I sold it for lots of money and I came down here to Raleigh and I was bored. I'm gonna get into this and that. No, I'm gonna tell you, I started a business after losing my first business and hitting complete rock bottom and going broke. and losing my home and filing a Chapter 7 bankruptcy and having $5.5 million of debt when I got to Raleigh, 177 credits. You can't make this stuff up. This is everyday life. This is
Yeah.
my everyday life at the time. So to me, authenticity is about helping other people find the courage, the strength, and the passion and or purpose, as we talked about a little bit before the
Yeah.
show, to be themselves and stop trying to be what everybody else wants them to be.
Yeah, that is so good because I think, and I would love your feedback on this. I think a lot of people hear the success mantras and we set goals, and many times those goals are going to draw us to become something else, but we're not mentally or emotionally ready for it. And so we have a lot of self-talk. Maybe that's not the right word, but we're not there yet because we're not being authentic to who we are today, and that sabotages our journey to get to where we're going. Is that fair? Is that
Yeah, and what you're saying is you're saying we have a lot of negative self-talk. We have a lot of putting ourselves down,
yeah,
always trying to push ourselves away from being the real us or trying to go for greatness or trying to do the things that we need to do. And what happens is, right, Michael, a lot of people, unfortunately, are afraid of two things. How about this? Failure and success.
yeah,
They're like, well, if I fail, oh, they're gonna talk bad about me. If I succeed, they're gonna say, oh, you made it, you were lucky, da da da. Denzel Washington had a great segment talking about, if you talk too much, they say you're loud. If you don't talk enough, they say you're cold. And he keeps going on and on and on about different things. And it was absolutely magnificent. His whole theme is that no matter what you do, people are going to judge you. They're going to think good of you or bad of you no matter what you do. So you might as well live your life. You might as well be the best version of yourself and try to help as many people as you can along the way. And this way, you can look yourself in the mirror and know you are the real you. And that's huge in that regard. So, again, like I tell people, it's all about our ability to know that we are enough. There's a great quote by Bruce Lee. Never tell your mind negative thoughts in a joking manner. Your body cannot dissimulate the difference. Words cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Choose how you talk to yourself and choose wisely. Bruce Lee. What Bruce meant by that is stop looking for external validation and or approval and just live your life this way, you're living your best life.
I love that, man. I love that so much. There are so many different. Years ago, I was fixated on getting the Ford F-150 truck, right? Because I was living in Little Rock, Arkansas. It seemed like everybody was driving this truck, right? And it was just like, oh, I've got to get one of those because that means success. And it dawned on me one day. I was teaching Sunday school or youth group or something at church, and I asked the kids after this dawned on me, and I'll ask you, I said, Marcus, do you know how many people in the world care what kind of car I drive? One, the guy who looks me in the mirror. And what happened is I was able to pivot and become, you know what? I'm okay if I drive a 15-year-old car because that's not what defines me. And the reality is, most of the people driving those F 150 trucks are on a payment plan for the next 6 years. My car's paid off. And so it was a mind shift to go, this is who I am. I'm okay if you're driving an F 150. I don't care because I'm okay with who I am. And that gave me such freedom to show up differently, right?
Michael, what happened is you stopped living for others and you started living for you. And that's
Mm,
when freedom happens. It's exhausting trying to be what everybody else wants you to be. It's exhausting trying to keep up with the Joneses.
yeah.
It's exhausting trying to spend all of your time or money or resources, trying to look good to other people, showing off for other people. That's just so much. It's just a lot. So what I tell people is if you're doing it for you, that's beautiful. If you're doing it for somebody else, please don't continue to make that progression. And people respond well because at the end of the day, I said, look, you have to live with you,
Yeah.
nobody else.
Absolutely. Yeah. And all of this is coming down to a word that I try to live by and use a lot is generosity. Because what I have found is that when we are generous people, and that could be as little as giving a compliment to somebody or giving somebody $1 extra tip someplace or just the words that I use to affirm people. When I do that, when I'm living that, it impacts how I attack the future, if you want to put it that way, right? And it allows me, as Jesus would say in the scriptures, not to be anxious for tomorrow. I want a better tomorrow. I want to grow, but I don't want to spend today being anxious of, well, maybe I will and maybe I will. That robs me of today, right?
Oh yeah, if you're sitting there trying to always overanalyze, they call that paralysis by analysis. What's tomorrow going to be like? How's this going to play out? All this stuff. You're missing the beauty of the moment, right? What's the old saying? The past is gone. The future is not here. Live in the moment. And I love that because it's like you don't have the ability. This is not Back to the Future. There
Right.
is no DeLorean. There's no Doc Emmett Brown or Marty McFly. You can't go backwards into the future, and you can't even go forward into the future. So you can't go back to the future or back to the past, and you can't go forward into the future like in Back to the Future 2. They went forward in time.
Right.
You can't do that. You're in the moment, right? And again, what happened yesterday happened yesterday. What's going to happen tomorrow? I can't focus on that. I got to take care of today. I got to live by my calendar. I got to execute what's on my calendar today. When I'm done with today, if I have a little bit of time later on, I may look at tomorrow and say, okay, I've got a speaking job here, got a couple calls here. Great. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, how's this going to go? Oh, I'm not going to do all that.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call living in the moment, right? And that's a great place to be because, again, you can't do anything about the past, and the future is not here. And you know what, Michael? When I go and speak on stage, people say to me, Marcus, how do you approach speeches? You've been doing this for a long time. You're really great at it. How do you approach? I said, I'm only as good or as great as my last talk. And that means that makes me focus on the moment, not what I did before, not what's coming up later on. I focus on executing for that client that trusted me and our brand and paid us for our time. And that's what keeps me inspired to keep giving great presentations with our speaking.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back to you mentioned, I think it was on your website, one of your NFL coaches and a phrase that he would use that applied to today because I see a lot of business owners spinning their wheels every day because they're not planning their day and they're not executing on important matters today because they're worried about whatever. Do you remember that quote I'm talking about?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. By Coach Jack Del Rio. Be your own CEO. Be your own chief executive officer. Control your day. Execute and do not worry about things that you have no control over. Jack always told, it was my rookie year in the NFL, right, Michael? Jack said, you have to focus on the task at hand. And you have to be your own self inspired, self starting individual. He said, if you're waiting for me or our coaches or the people in the front office or in the building to tell you where to go, how to be, how to do things, you're always going to be at the mercy of somebody else controlling your calendar, your life, and on how you do things. And he said, that's not taking control of your life. And he told us verbatim, Michael, this is bigger than football.
Yeah.
This is bigger than the game. This is about everyday life. He said, because I know you all are between the age of 21 and 23, you feel invincible, you feel indestructible, you feel you can't be hurt. I get it. He said, I was there too. But this is about life and life after the game. And that touched me, Michael, because every time in my life that I was a CEO and I took charge and I was grateful and I was full of humility and I worked hard, great things happened. Anytime my ego got in the way or got too big or I stopped being my own CEO or I stopped taking control of my life, bad things happen. So, as usual, Coach Del Rio was right on point.
Yeah, and that's great, great counsel. And to be your own CEO, to manage your day, to plan it ahead of time, to attack the day, and to, in a sense, not worry about the future because you know when the future comes, you're going to be ready to attack it because you are doing things. Talk a little bit about how you help companies. Who's a great company to work with you, and what are they thinking, feeling, dealing with now before they reach out to say, we need Marques to come in and rally our troops or help us? What's going on in their world?
We're getting hired a lot by different industries, which we're very fortunate for. I would say the top five that hire us right now are finance, insurance, real estate, mortgages, and technology. We do get some non for profits. He's got a nice job in Baltimore in April for an amazing non for profit, which is construction based. We do some healthcare. We do some sports as well. But I would say those are the top five that hire us. Again, finance, insurance, real estate, mortgages, and tech. I would say we get hired a lot for sales kickoff meetings. We also get hired a lot for leadership talks and or mindset talks. So we've done already 12 this year, the first 6 weeks of 2026. And we did one that was going for a like a mindset talk. We did a couple that we did were sales kickoffs. We did a couple that were all about leadership. And when we talk about leadership, we talk about like being an aspirational and or inspirational leader. An aspirational leader casts the vision. An inspirational leader makes it come to life. And when we do sales kickoffs, we talk about bringing the energy and creating your road to summit, how to achieve more. You get to the top of the mountain, right, or that summit, find a new mountain, climb that mountain. And people are just always wanting us to bring some experience from the NFL, and some wisdom. Like, what did we learn there, or what did I learn there that connects to the business world about being your own CEO? We talk a lot about this in talks too, right, Michael? One of my other coaches, Mike Malarkey, had a saying: control the four C's to have the fifth would be control, right? If you see, if you can manage the four C's, you can take the big C of your life, control. Calendar, clock, communication, consistency. So people, when they hire us, are looking for somebody to help them with like bringing the energy, how to connect with their team better, how to connect with their potential clients or their existing clients better, how to be better leaders, to take charge in their business, and or how to have the mindset to thrive through any storm.
That's awesome. Man, you and I could talk for a long time. I think about the four C's are amazing. I love how you just laid those out because those are true for anybody, anywhere, in any level of the organization. But if you want to really climb that mountain and then climb the next peak, you need to be authentic to yourself and you need to have the right self-talk to make sure that you're in the best place emotionally in yourself to accomplish that person, that mission that's in front of you. Marques, I mean, how would somebody find you, follow you? What's the next step for somebody who's like, this guy's got something cool, I want to listen to a podcast? Where would they even go to start that journey?
They can go to check out our podcast, Michael. It's a great place to start. Get Authentic with Marques Ogden. We have a Get Authentic with Marques Ogden YouTube channel. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on all the major platforms, Google. You can check us out there. You can shoot me an email, Marques@marquesogden.com. We have a LinkedIn, Marques Ogden, Facebook, Marques Ogden, Instagram at Marques Ogden. And we're also building an app with my business partner, Nathan, a coaching app to help people who want to coach others learn how to pull in things from sports, even if you didn't play sports. Great things I learned from sports and my failed learning lesson business to what I'm doing now. And the app will be out probably in about 3 to 6 months. We're building it as we speak, and we're very excited about that. But again, you can check us out through our Get Authentic with Marques Ogden podcast. Again, YouTube channel or Spotify or Apple, or just shoot me an email, Marques@marcusogden.com.
Love that. I'm going to grab some of those, put those in the show notes. I love the consistency and the clarity of all of that because that's great marketing, Marcus. So well done there. Thank you, brother. Thank you for spending some time with me. Thanks for being authentic, just showing up and inspiring others to really be themselves and to have greater success in life as they just attack those mountains, but do it in a way that is true to who they are and not worrying about the past, not focusing too much about the future, showing up in the present, controlling those 4 C's. That's the way to make it happen. So, Marcus, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Michael. Thanks for having me on, my friend.
All right. Thanks for listening to Experts Speak. Tune in again next week for another great episode. Take care. God bless.